So like you get fans and they're like, yo, dude, you need to go back to your old school shit, you know? And we're like, yeah, like we did that. Like we're bringing some of that rap back and some of that like new metal element to the music again. And then we realize old school Papa Roach to some people is 2010. It's like depends on when you fell in love with our band and what old school means to you.
Hey guys, James Wilson Taylor here for Rock Sound. Now, Papa Roach's brand new album is just around the corner. I'm delighted to say on Zoom right now, we got Jacoby to tell us all about it. How are you, man?
Good, man. I'm just out on tour in America, making some noise with the boys, which is great. Playing some new music on stage, which is freaking awesome. And I'm talking to Rock Sound, dude. So life's dope, man. I got to talk to my folks across the pond.
Always good to see you, man. No, it must be so great. I mean, obviously, this is such an obvious question I've been asking everyone lately, but you just must be delighted to be back on a stage again, man. It's been a minute there. It must be so lovely to finally be out there with your people again.
Yeah, man, it really is. It's a blessing, and I'm just grateful to, be able to just connect with people again and do that, live that purpose that I've lived for so many years of my life, and just approaching it with a sense of gratitude.
Yeah, absolutely, man. No, it's going to feel even sweeter after the last couple of years, I'm sure, to finally be able to get back out there, dude.
And you know this, man.
So true. Well, it's an exciting time to talk to you, man. The new album is on the way. It is called Ego Trip. Let's start with kind of how this came together, because I remember the last time we spoke was kind of peak lockdown, really, doing one of these. And you were kind of starting to work on some new ideas. You had some songs that were already formulating there. When did it all kind of come together where you thought, yeah, I think we might have a full-on record here?
We went and moved into this house in Temecula, California during the lockdown, and just holed up there for a month straight and wrote music 24/7. Literally, it was just creative ideas flowing. We had a main studio in the main house, then we had a couple ancillary rigs in the other bedrooms, and it was just idea after idea after idea, and it was just honestly like a tidal wave of creativity. And we had a lot of momentum leaving that place, and we had a core of the album, I'd say like 8-9 songs finished up for the record at that point in time, and then just like musical jump offs. And that's when we took the stuff back to North Hollywood. We started working on the stuff in like a proper studio for a little while, and then after that I was sick of being in a studio. I was like, I don't want to be in a studio, dude. Cut back home for a little while, and then we started renting Airbnbs. And so just renting Airbnbs, rolling out there with a laptop, Apollo Twin and a vocal and and a microphone and a pair of headphones. And we would just cut vocals in these Airbnbs down North Hollywood. Another one of them, we went up to San Luis Obispo on the beach, and cut some vocals there. And it was a really cool process. And so it took some time, but I knew once we left Temecula, we had a lot of great music, and we knew that we had something special, and we're just so proud of it, man. The album's 14 tracks. It's deep. It's a journey.
Yeah, man. No, it's really nice to hear you so positive about it. Again, a couple of things I want to mention from, again, this last time we spoke, because it was interesting to see this kind of change now. You got the finished product there. I remember you saying at the time there was a track you were super excited about. I think you just finished it. You were saying it's got Shikari vibes. It's got all these big things, and it was called Bloodline, and now we see it has made the final track list, man. Is that still the one you're kind of most hyped about? Hyped for people to get to hear?
I love that track. It's definitely a standout track on the record. And I mean, honestly, like every song has its own life and its own space and its own energy and its own field. It's not this album is stylistically, it's like musical ADD in a way. There's just so many styles we like to dip into musically, but Bloodline is just, it's fiery, dude. It's just got this energy that's like, it's kooky, and I can't wait to play it live. We're not playing it live in the set yet, but once we add that one in, I'll be stoked.
Man, exciting times. Well, we can already hear from the singles that are out there, the kind of diversity on this record and the different sounds you're playing with. I want to talk about a couple of
Yeah.
the singles. First of all, congratulations on the success of Kill the Noise, man. That's been really, really nice to see how much the fan base have really, really got behind that, and it's really kind of taken on this bigger audience. Tell me a little bit about putting that one in particular together, I guess. I mean, quite an obvious single by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I know that was one of like as far as like the heavier rock songs, that was like the bar. And so when we went in to try to like not recreate Kill the Noise again, but write another song with that same energy and that same kind of feel, we like to call them cousins, right? Like, what's the cousin of that song? And we just knew we had something special with that one as well. I remember hearing that. I wasn't in the studio when the band wrote the music. They sent me the music. That one we did a while ago. The music had been sitting around for a minute, and I was sick. That's what happened. I was sick. I went to Mexico and got that like sickness, not the COVID, but the Montezuma's revenge.
Tour flu, as we call it.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of going on a tangent there, but I heard the music and I knew it was special, and I knew the band set the bar high, and lyrically, fuck, man, what's going on in the world today is just like, there's so much noise between media, the pissing matches on social media, and the misinformation, and just the infighting, and just the static that it creates, and that energy that culminates in our lives if we choose to dive in and be part of the pissing match. It's just, it can make you go fucking crazy, And I had to, at a few points in the last couple of years, just step off social media, put my phone down, and just get back in the real world. It can be a real noisy place if you choose to be involved in that stuff. And I couldn't handle it, man. It broke me. Am I losing my mind? Am I fucking going crazy? And some people just fell off the fucking deep end.
Yeah, you're far from alone in that. I mean, and clearly the success of the track, I think, as well speaks to the fact that people are hearing that message, man. It's definitely a very universal feeling for sure. And
Yeah.
and I think that, again, we talk about the contrast of the record. What's really nice is you've got, something you're clearly very passionate about with the lyrics in there, and obviously a big kind of heavy
Yeah.
track. And we contrast that. We then get a track like Swerve, which again just has this absolute, really, really fun feel,
Okay.
and it's like
Yeah.
it's like such a different vibe in a lot of ways. Tell me a little bit about putting that together, because we had one of these chats with Swayco the other week as well, which was really, really nice.
Yeah.
He was properly singing your guys' praises as well. Obviously, he's been inspired by you guys since back in the day, and also, of course, Jason from The Fever, who's just an absolute gentleman and such a talented dude as well. Tell me a little bit about working with those guys on this one.
Oh man, I mean, the track it was just so nutty and different, and it was actually one of the songs lyrically that I just didn't know where to take it. I was just like, I kind of let it sit on the back burner, and I didn't have anything written for it. And then we were like, dude, this kind of seems like a song we just need to go get like some guest vocals and let that be like the inspiration for this, instead of me just tackling the whole track. And it just felt like this is something that we wanted to involve other people with. So we sent the track off to Jay, and Jay spit this verse on it. And I was just like, oh, so you're going to set the bar like that, motherfucker, let's go, And so then I spit bars, sent them back to him. He threw another 4 bars on it. And it was like, we were going back and forth. We were sending the track back and forth online because he was down in New Zealand at the time. And just to speak on Jason, he is, like you said, he's such a good human being. I love his heart. I love his spirit. And I connect with him on a lot of different levels, musically, from a father standpoint. He's a father, I'm a father, that element, and so there was a vibe there with he and I. And he definitely is an inspiring dude to work with, straight up, and like, what a force. And then we were like, brainstorming, well, who could be like the third person on this track? Because it's always like, everybody always does two vocalists. And I'm like, nah, fuck that, man. We got to break break that cycle. Let's try something different. Let's get a third guy. And my producer, Colin Britton at the time, was doing some producing with Sweco. And Colin brought it up. He's like, what about this kid Sweco? Let's see what he could spit on it. And so we sent him the track and he laid his part down. And as soon as I heard it, I was like, I didn't have the vision in my mind of what it was going to be. I just knew that I wanted it to be special. And that's what happened, and it's such a fun track. And it's such like a throw your fucking middle finger up in the sky type of track. We're not taking ourselves too seriously. We're like, this song's for the fucking haters. Straight up, like just some numbskull fucking rock shit. And we had a good time with it, man. And shooting the video was a blast. And, Sweco showed up. He had no idea he was going to get in a kiddie pool in his underwear. We just threw that on him on set. We're like, hey, dude, are you comfortable, like, just stripping down? He's like, huh? And he was a good sport, dude. He did it, man. And it's just like, it's such a beat change, in the pacing of the video when he's just chilling in that pool, spitting his verse. And everybody brought something super unique to the track. And I think it's really special.
Yeah, I love that collaborative spirit, man. Obviously, you've been working with lots of people recently. It's just so nice to see that, and especially when it clicks like that with two really genuinely nice dudes who bring something separate to the table as well. It's a really, really nice mix in there, man, for sure.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, we talk about these big statement stuff. I always like to ask people about album titles. Maybe it's a cliche question, I don't know, but it genuinely fascinates me. I love to know why people pick these phrases, especially when it's a big old statement like this, a statement like Ego Trip to throw there to sum up all these kind of songs as a collection together. Tell me a bit about why you decided that was what you wanted to title the record as a whole.
This album essentially is like a journey through the ego and the wrestling match of the ego, of my higher self and my lower self. And I'm always challenging myself to try to become a better person, treat myself better, treat other people better, put other people first. But I got this part of me that's just so selfish and self-centered and self-seeking, and it's that wrestling match with the ego, it's like, who's in control right now? Is it my higher self, my more humbled, spiritual, loving, compassionate self, or is it my dark self-seeking version of myself? And we all have that, and I've found that to progress in my life, I gotta smash the ego. I have to, because when I'm out there thinking my shit don't stink and the world should bow down before me, my life turns to shambles. It don't work for me. I don't operate well in that dynamic. And so Papa Roach, we're on an ego trip.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny, isn't it, that like it takes bands a lot. I think we all have those moments, right? We all get kind of on that level with ourselves, but it takes time to realize that, doesn't it? It takes time to realize how we all need to be grounded in our lives no matter what it is we do. And I guess the fact that you guys have been in the game so long as well, I would imagine that only helps you to be like, you know what, we know where we're at, we want to stay grounded so we can succeed in a bigger way.
Yeah, well, it's like we went out and all guns blazing 150 miles an hour towards a cinder block wall and would bash our heads into it repeatedly. And that was our lifestyle for some years. And just a lot of wreckage and damage and pain, self-inflicted pain, relationship issues, and it's almost like this album, the title seems so egotistical, so cocky, but it's anti that, honestly. It's like there's this self-awareness that I've come to in my life that I'm always challenging myself to rise to the occasion.
Yeah, no, it's a good attitude to have, man. I respect you for that. Very well put. And it's interesting as well, again, it's something else that we spoke about last time, because that was around like the live stream, the anniversary live streams and stuff you were doing for Infest at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember you saying again, you were like, you really enjoyed revisiting that world for a minute and that particular time in your life and that particular time in your career. And I think you said something to the effect of, I'm going to be interested to see how revisiting this affects what I want to do next. How did it affect what you've done next? How do you feel revisiting that time affected what we're going to hear here on Ego Trip?
Sonically, I feel like we went and revisited that space, and it was like, oh man, the riff. What about the riff, man? Like, we had all those riffs on Infest. They were just, every track had this memorable guitar part that, kids online would be, going back and playing, And so I think that element really influenced this album, and, the way that we approach some of the tracks is like, dude, let's not forget like the guitar riff, and let that be a shining moment in each song. How can the guitar really poke through and be the star? And then for me, I guess the reflection upon that time was a lot of the touring that I was doing around that album. I was a fucking maniac. I was so self-destructive, I was like beating myself in the head with a microphone till I would bleed, and it was just like, I don't understand where that was coming from. Maybe I was just like, I'm fucking crazy. Like, I wanted to prove that I was crazy, and it's like, I became that, right? It's like, I went so far down that path that it's like, I lost myself, to be honest. Like, I really did, man. It took me some time to recover, like who I am. And so I think that's what brought on that, again, that analyzing himself, accountability, to recognize the growth that I've done in my life. I've stepped away from alcohol now for 10 years, and that was a battle for me for a long time. And so to recognize that growth, but to always, put my feet to the fire, because it's, if I give myself completely to this world, it's all about following that dark lower self. And I just have to, recoil from the flame, stop burning myself, and live again. And that experience, I think, of going back in time and reliving some of those moments in my mind made me realize, like, this path I'm on is the right path. I got my life together, man. It feels like, as much as I'm spinning out, at moments, I do a lot of like head tripping. I think that's part of my problem, is I future trip. And so music is a way for me to untangle that crazy ass ball of yarn, that all those knots in my mind. Music is that way to untangle and to become free again, to then become tangled again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a process, man. Every day I wake up, man, it's a new challenge. It's a good one, man.
Yeah, everyone's got an element of that, but that's so nice for you to be able to go back and celebrate those moments, but also have realizations like that about yourself. That's such a lovely, lovely thing to be able to take away from looking back at what was, this huge success, but also being able to take away something personally like that as well. So lovely.
Like, I am a fully recovered fuckboy. You know what I mean? Like, straight up, dude. Like, I look back at my old self and I'm like, you're such a idiot. It's just fucking.
Hey, takes a lot to recognize that in our past selves, man. I respect that. That's very, very good, dude. Well, what was nice, actually, on a musical level with that as well, when you were celebrating that, was seeing how the kind of generation that's come since have embraced that record and were really reminiscing among themselves as well around the anniversary. I'm thinking particularly of, like, I saw you jumping up with Mr. Ollie Sykes and stuff at Emo Night and all those kind of things. Like, what a lovely, lovely meeting of generations there, because obviously he's always said, how much, the scene you were a part of, and you guys in particular, have really informed what he's gone on to do as well.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's rad to see these young bands that are coming up and stepping on the stage and just fucking ripping it, and knowing that our music was part of the inspiration behind that. It blows me away. It really does. It's humbling and it's exciting, and to hit on that, it's like, Bring Me the Horizon, honestly, is like, they're probably one of my favorite bands, straight up. Like, I love that band. I love that they're bold and adventurous with their style. I'm like, good on you, boys, man. Instead of just like staying deathcore your whole life, like, evolve. Let the music grow with you. And that's what we've done through our whole career, right? Is just continue to evolve and fall in love with new music and let that inspire us. Fall in love with old music, let that inspire us. But yeah, it's dope to be see this kind of time come full circle, and we still got something to say. We still got something to prove, It's like, we see these young cats like Bring Me coming up, and it's like, all right, like I want to be part of the conversation of current popular heavy rock music, and I'm just so grateful that we still are, even our boys in Corn, like they just dropped a fucking new record and
What a great record it is. It's
I'm
such a
rocking
great
it,
album,
dude.
man. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, fuck, they killed it on this one. Like, it's cool to see, man. And so it's dope that rock feels like it's coming back full force right now. It really does, man. And it's a good time to be alive. It's a good time to play rock music. It's a good time to be in Papa Roach. Can't complain.
Yeah, absolutely, man. No, very, very glad to hear it. And a couple more things before I let you go. We speak about how you celebrated the past a little bit. One thing I did want to mention that's coming up this year, because we're now going to hit the 20 years of Love Hate Tragedy, and I know anniversaries are what they are and everything. But for me, I absolutely adored that record when it came out. I remember those releases and everything. It was such a huge moment for you guys. And again, pushing forward, it was really interesting as a follow up to Infest. You really kind of push yourselves forward in a big way. I always like to ask when it's these kind of anniversaries, what stayed the same for you guys musically? Is there anything you learnt making that record that still applies in terms of what you did now? Anything about the method, anything about the writing process that kind of sticks with you as, oh, that was something I learned there that's kind of stayed with me?
For me personally, it was get your fucking life together. You're an absolute wreck. That's what I learned from that album, honestly, man. And it was really at the time when I was spiraling into in a real bad way. But the music on that record, we go back and I listen to it. We reached back into that album and we brought back this track, "Born with Nothing, Die with Everything," and put it in the set. And it's like one of the deep cuts on the record. It wasn't a single. It wasn't one of, but it was just one of those tracks that we just love so much. And what is on that fucking track? It's a sick guitar riff. It's like, don't forget the riff, homies. Like, and also what I like about that album is it's so raw and stripped. And as I go back and revisit those moments, we're even talking about where we're going to go after this album. And we're like, man, maybe the MO for this new shit that we might go write is like a little more stripped and raw and not as like synthed out and, this electronic element maybe that'll take a backseat. And so it's interesting how, you go really heavy and deep into these spaces and then we'll find ourselves going in the opposite direction, and it's like, and that's essentially like what we did between Infest and Love Hate Tragedy was like, we were kind of labeled as like the broken homeboys. And we're like, man, there's so much more to who we are as a band and what we want to do. Like, I want to prove myself as a ballad singer, a valid rock singer. And so there isn't a lot of rapping on Love Hate Tragedy. And I think that was another thing that I take from that album is the melodic element that I really was diving into a lot more on that record. And I've carried that with me through all the years now. It's like I really want to prove myself as a valid rock singer. And I think over the course of the last 5 years, I've done so. And so that's why I'm rapping a bunch more on this new record. So I'm like, fuck, well, I proved that I'm a rock singer. I can fucking rip. Now I want to fucking sharpen up my rap skills again.
Have it both ways, man. We're not complaining. You can have it both ways. That's all good.
I gotta tell you something funny, man. It's like, this goes to show you can't please everybody, right?
Right.
So like you get fans and they're like, yo, dude, you need to go back to your old school shit, And we're like, yeah, like we did that. Like we're bringing some of that rap back and some of that like new metal element to the music again. And then we realize old school Papa Roach to some people is 2010 and not 2000. You know what I'm saying? So some people, so there's these like, it's like depends on when you fell in love with our band and what old school means to you. You know what I mean? And so we never know when somebody is online going, dude, you should do your old school shit. It's like, I don't fucking know what to do, dude. I'm just going to keep pressing it forward and do what feels right for us.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's a champagne problem right there, man. That is, you've been around too long and had too many eras. Oh, what a shame, Yeah. I think you'll be fine with that. No
It
complaints.
just makes me laugh, man. It's funny.
Man, that is funny. That's a great one, though. I love that. I'll leave you with this, dude, because I know you got shows and stuff to go prepare for. But what are the kind of bigger tour plans? I know you maybe can't give too much away, but we certainly hope you're going to be back here on UK shores at some point, right?
Yeah, man. So I think 2023 is our plan, and we got something that we just locked in the UK that's going to be announced. That's fucking so dope. I'm so excited about it. Honestly, it's going to be fucking one of the sickest tours we've done in a long time. So it's very exciting, and the announcements will be coming soon. British music. I mean, when it comes to heavy music, you guys are murdering right now. It's like Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes' new album is fucking great. I love it. It's like I just keep finding myself like just so hopped up on British rock. I'm like, I can't get enough, man. I love it. I'm like, at some point, I'd really like to. I've said this a few times to the band. I'd love to go over to the UK and just spend some time and write music there. I just love to be in the space, and I know my homies in While She Sleeps got this cool ass little studio outside Sheffield that I'm like, dude, man, I might have to holler at those guys one day and be like, hey, we're gonna come take that place over for a month. What do you say? So who knows, man?
Well, in the meantime, man, all the best to you guys. Best of luck with this album release. Best of luck with all the touring out there, man. We can't wait to see you over here when that does happen. And just appreciate your time as ever, man. All right?
Absolutely, man. And great chatting to you again, man. Great chatting. Appreciate y'all supporting the music and, profiling P. Roach on Rock Sound. It really means a lot to us.
Absolutely, always, dude. All the best to you.